Hello and welcome back to the Avoid the Tyre podcast. Today you'll notice it's slightly different as I am on my own. I'm going to be doing a Formula E season review for the 2020/21 season. This was my first season watching the electric racing and I was amazed from Tyre. My hope for the title was Nick de Vries of Mercedes EQ Formula E team. This is because I'd followed his junior career and was very excited to see him racing again. So, race 1 in Tyre on the 26th of February. De Vries was very strong in the practice sessions, qualifying and race 1, which he won. Race 2 was won by Sam Bird of Jaguar Racing, a British driver. Mercedes EQ and other Mercedes-powered cars were experiencing an engine issue, therefore they could not qualify for the second race, which was on the 27th of February. The next double header was in Rome, and race 1 was won by John-Eric Verne, with Stoffel van Dorn finishing race 4 the leader. For Formula E, the points are the same as Formula 1. First gets 25 points, second gets 18 points, third gets 15, fourth 12, fifth 10, sixth 8, seventh 6 points, 4 points for 8th position, 2 points for 9th position and 1 point for 10th. If the driver gets the Tyre fastest lap, I apologise if I've said this wrong, they get an extra point. But here's the difference. If the driver secures pole position, they get 3 extra points, similar to the sprint qualifying. The next 2 races on the calendar were Valencia in Spain. This was more of a purpose-built circuit, if I remember correctly, than a street circuit, and De Vries and Dennis took the wins on the 2 different days. Race 7 on May the 8th, and it was in Monaco. This was only one race rather than the usual double header, and it was won by Antonio Felix da Costa of Portugal. After a month-long break, race 8 was another double header in Puebla in Mexico. Lucas de Grassi and Eduardo Mortara won the races. Race 10 and 11 were held in New York City, with Maximilian Gunther and Sam Bird taking the win. Maximilian Gunther has recently signed for Nissan Edams for the 2021 to 2022 season, and we wish him the best of luck. The next race, which was in the UK, were both won by British drivers, Jake Dennis and Alex Lynn. Alex Lynn drove for Mahindra Racing, and this was their first win of the season. The final races were held in Berlin at an airport circuit, which I thought was amazing. Lucas de Grassi and Norman Nato took wins there. What I like about Formula E is the way that the cars look. I think they look like modern spaceships. This season's teams included Audi Sport ABT Schaeffler, I apologise again if I've said that wrong, who had Lucas de Grassi and René Rast driving for them. Maximilian Gunther and Jake Dennis drove for BMW I Andretti Motorsport. Next up we have Dragon Penske Autosport with Joel Eriksson and Sergio Sette Camara, who was a big name in Formula 2. DS Cheetah's pairing were Antonio Felix da Costa and John-Eric Verne. Their car was a very distinctive gold and black livery. Next up, a British team, Envision Virgin Racing, who had Robin Fryant and Nick Cassidy as their driver lineup. Followed by Jaguar Racing, who had Sam Bird and New Zealander Mitch Evans. Mahindra Racing are an Indian team whose lineup consisted of Alex Lynn and Alexander Sims, both British drivers. Next up are your Constructors Champions, Mercedes EQ Formula E team, who had Stoffel Van Dorn and Nick De Vries as their drivers. Neo 333 Formula E team, who were the back markers for this season, with Oliver Turvey and Tom Blomqvist as their lineup. Nissan E-Dams had Sebastian Buemi and Roland driving for them. A German team, Tyre Porsche Formula E, with Andre Lotterer and Pascal Wehrlein, who were both German drivers. Finally, the only Monegasque racing team in the world, Rocket Venturi Racing, who have Susie Wolff as their team principal. Their lineup is Eduardo Mortara and Norman Nato. So, why did I watch Formula E? The reason I got into Formula E was because I had seen TikToks just before the Diriyah weekend, and I just wanted to see what it was all about. I thought that it was awesome that they were racing electric cars, but one thing that I did not like was the strange whirry noise that it made, because it sounded like someone had got a hairdryer going for like all of 45 minutes. It was very strange. However, my favourite parts of it are the mix of winners, because in Formula 1 this season there have been a couple of different, but it was mostly Max Verstappen or Lewis Hamilton. But in Formula 8 there was such a wide variety of talent, of people's skills. I thought that it showcased a lot of people who maybe never had the opportunity to drive in Formula 1. I also love the fact that it was mostly street circuit, as my favourite Formula 1 track is Baku, and I think street circuits present a whole different challenge because of the uneven surface. There may be plants growing through cracks in the tarmac, so it just presents, it's different every time you drive there. The conditions between race 1 in Rome and race 2 in Rome were completely different, if I remember correctly. So what would I change about the next Formula E season? I would definitely add some younger talent. In Formula 2 we've got the likes of Oscar Piastri and Robert Schwartzman, who are allegedly not being considered for Formula 1 seats. I would love to see them in Formula E. I think Nick De Vries going to Formula E was a very good move because he's showcased his talent there and now he's a favourite for several seats. I would also like it if there was less of a gap between the races and if there was lots more races in the calendar. Instead of going to London, I think it would be cool if they went to maybe a small town or a less known part of England, maybe in the countryside. I know it would probably not be very practical, but I think it could make for an awesome race with amazing racing. Some of the Formula E drivers' names will probably be familiar to you, such as Antonio Felix da Costa. That is because quite a few of them race in the Endurance Championship or have previously raced in Formula 1. Overall, I think this season has been very, very interesting, and it's shown just how insane a close field can be when racing each other. I hope you enjoyed this season review. Thank you for watching. See you next week.